Hi, I'm Brandon. I do most of the training and marketing videos for SmartOffice, and I'll be leading the Beyond the Basics class today. So ideally by now you're comfortable with the basics of SmartOffice, such as signing in, accessing your contacts and calendar, making SmartPad notes, and so on, and maybe you're curious about what else SmartOffice can do. You might have even done a little self-study and realized that SmartOffice can do a lot. It can do a lot. SmartOffice is designed to meet a variety of business needs for a variety of market channels. But that doesn't mean that you're going to use all of its features. You definitely will not. And I'm bringing this up because I've seen at that point where a user realizes the power of SmartOffice and all that it can do, that they can easily make the jump in their mind that it's too complicated and they'll never learn everything they need to know. So please don't make that jump. Don't think that you have to master every corner of SmartOffice, even those I'm covering today, before you can realize its true potential. As an example, think about your smartphone. You didn't learn every feature of the phone and research every app before you made your first call. The same is true for SmartOffice. With that being said, here are the 3 goals of this class. First, I'd like you to learn how to make SmartOffice yours by making it work for you. Second, I'd like you to realize the importance of setting business goals and using those goals as a basis for what comes next with SmartOffice. And third, forget about learning everything and just learn something that you can put into practice right after this class. So now, let's discuss how to begin making SmartOffice yours. What do you want to see when you sign in to SmartOffice? I'll show you a number of options by clicking on the username in the upper right-hand corner. I'll click Profile and Settings. And then from User Preferences, I'll click the default location at Sign In dropdown. So here I can choose where SmartOffice will open each time I sign in. I can see my dashboards, my calendar, pending case list, leads dashboard, PCM report, or opportunity list. So let's say I do a lot of the scheduling around my office. I'd like to see the calendar when I sign in. I'm going to select Week. And in addition to my calendar, I sometimes need to see my business partner's calendar, our office manager's calendar, and the conference room's availability when scheduling a meeting. I added these users and my conference room to my favorite users list, and in just a bit, I'll show you how to quickly change the calendar view to see other users' calendars along with yours to make scheduling easy. I also want the calendar to stay open while I navigate through other areas of SmartOffice because I don't like having to open it again and again. I can do that by clicking Calendar Options. And from the Calendar Display section, I'll select Pop-up. I'll click Save. And then let's sign out and then sign back in again. Okay, now I'm back in SmartOffice and I'm looking at the week calendar. And if I click on the week calendar, notice that there's another tab for the calendar right beside SmartOffice. So I can either switch between them, or I can detach the calendar and resize or minimize as well. If I want to see the availability for the meeting room this week, I can hover over Show Other Users Calendar and select Meeting Room. I can do this for the other users I have in my favorite users list as well. Now, if you have a somewhat static group of users whose calendars you'd like to see every time you sign in, I'll show you how to do that. Here I'll add a few users. Once I've selected the users, SmartOffice will remember the selection each time I sign in. So if in doubt as to whose calendars are shown, click Menu, and then click Show User List for View Other Users' Activities. If you'd like to see a more consolidated list of users' free or busy time, click the Group Scheduling tab. And you can add users and even select from user groups. So just find an open time slot, click on it, and click Yes to just add the activity for Joyce, or click All to schedule for all participants shown. If you prefer not to have a calendar pop-up window, or if you close the pop-up window, you can get back to the day, week, or month view by clicking here in the Quick Action corner. Okay, so that was a little primer on how to have the calendar open by default at sign-in, how to select other users' calendars for viewing one by one or as a static group, and how to quickly see availability for other users in your office. Okay, now let's switch gears a little bit and take a look at one of my favorite features, one that I definitely use to make SmartOffice work for me, dashboards. All of my dashboards are built off of information already in SmartOffice. So I created the dashboards once, and the information is always updated and easily accessible. So how can you use dashboards? Let's take a look at a few examples. In this office, I created a dashboard with age-related events. So there's a portlet listing all clients with birthdays coming up, a portlet that shows clients with important age changes coming up in the next month, and clients who will be reaching 70 and a half, and are required to take a minimum distribution from their retirement account. These are all good reasons to reach out to the clients. And notice I didn't have to run 3 separate reports to get this data. It's all right here waiting for me. And now I can spend more time with the client instead of trying to remember which reports I need to run to get this data. Now up above I have another tab that shows clients who have not been contacted in 9 months. So I'll click that tab. And from the dashboard I can see summary information. And I can jump right into the contact record by clicking the contact's name. So from here I can review the SmartPad by pressing F7 or clicking the SmartPad icon right here. And to return to the dashboard list, I can just close the record. So here's a really neat feature. Let's say I want to send a letter to all the contacts in this list. I can click this Go to List icon right here. And now I can tag all or some of the contacts and perform a mass operation such as sending a letter or an email by clicking the correspondence button right here. To return to the dashboard list, I can simply click the dynamic report link at the top. And we're back in the dashboard list. You can also click the home icon to return to your dashboards at any time. Next, I'd like to show you how easy it is to add a dashboard. So let's say I'm launching a prospecting campaign directed at all of my clients who have life insurance but no disability insurance. So the first thing I need to do is create a report identifying these clients. To save time, I've already created a report for this purpose. So I'll go to Reports in the side menu. Then I'll select Dynamic Reports. And then I'll search for my report. I'll click Search. Now I want to run the report to ensure it's returning the desired results. Okay, looks good. So now I'm going to click Add to Dashboards. I'm going to accept this portlet title, and I'll add this to a new blank tab. I'll give the tab a name, and I'll have the layout fill the entire tab. Okay, click Save. Now how do I go to see if this is on my home page? I'll just click the home icon right here. Easy. And I can see my new DI Prospects dashboard right here with the dynamic report we just added to the dashboard. So the dashboard area is another default landing zone you can select at login, but it doesn't have to be your default landing option. Again, dashboards are accessible from anywhere in SmartOffice via the Home button. So what would be your takeaway? It might be to think about what you'd like to see on your home page and get that tab or those tabs created. And remember, support is always available to help you. What I'd like to do next is to show you how easy it is to find and work with your contact data the way you want to see it. So one of the most frequently asked questions we receive is, I want to see a list of all my clients. There are a number of ways to do this, so I'll show you the fastest way. First, click on Advanced Search. And I'm going to click on Contacts Only since I'm not interested in seeing my business clients at this time. So SmartOffice will remember this choice the next time you sign in, so remember to change it for different searches. I'll click the Type drop-down, and I'll select Client. Notice that this window contains a lot of other options to help you search for contacts, including contacts who work at a particular company or who have a specific social security number, subtype, source, primary advisor, and so on. Some people use the search by email address or partial email address pretty frequently. Now I won't enter any additional search criteria since I'm simply interested in searching for clients. So now I'll click Search. And my first 50 clients appear. Now I could click Record Count to see how many clients exist in my database. And I can click View More to bring in all of my clients up to 1,500 records. But in this case, there's only 135 total. Now I segment my clients into subtypes A, B, C, or D based on a number of factors. So by default, the list is sorted by last name. But I can quickly sort any column in the list just by clicking on the column heading. So let's say I want to sort by subtype. All I need to do is click on the subtype heading, and the list is sorted by subtype. So if I want to see only my subtype A clients and not my B, C, and D down here, I can quickly filter the list by clicking the filter icon next to subtype, and I'll enter A in the Contains field and click Enter. Now only my A clients will appear in the list. Now let's say I'm doing a marketing campaign directed at all of my top clients who are 40 or older, so I want to isolate this group of clients. So I can filter on the age right from this list by clicking the filter icon next to the age column, and I'll enter 39 in the greater than field. Then I'll press Enter again. And now my list shows all clients 40 and older who are subtype A. So from here I can work on individual client records or perform mass operations such as sending out mass mailing right here. So now I'm going to unfilter this list to show all clients regardless of subtype or age. I just click on the Undo Column Filter button. And now the list is unfiltered. So next, let's take a look at a few other options available using the Customize List Layout feature. I'm going to bring that up to my toolbar. Here's the Customize List Layout button. I'm going to drag and drop it and put it right there. So this contact list is sorted alphabetically by default, but you can change the default sort order plus do a number of other really interesting things here. For this next example, I'm going to bring in all of my contacts. And next I'll click Customize List Layout. And just as a little refresher, don't forget to use the Search Column feature on this screen to quickly locate any field to add to your list view. Here you'll notice a list sorting grouping option. So I want to sort by contact type. So I'll click the drop down and select contact type. The G next to the contact type indicates the contacts will be grouped by type, so all of your clients will be grouped together. So all of your clients will be grouped together, all of your prospects will be grouped together, and so on. Now I'm going to click Report Layout, which in this case means screen layout, and I'll select Tree. And the tree option makes a large list manageable by condensing the results by the selected grouping option, in this case type. So we'll click OK. And I'll click View More, and we'll see a list of grouped by contact type. And I can expand these types if I wanted. And one more quick thing, if I want to see a graphical representation of all my contacts, I can go back to the list layout. Let's select Default Chart and select Bar Chart. Let's click OK to see what this looks like. So we just covered one of the most powerful features in SmartOffice. We learned how to perform an advanced search, sort a list on the fly, filter a list, change the sorting and grouping, add a chart. And the most important thing I think we covered is that the customized list layout and all of its functions are available from any list in SmartOffice. So your assignment is to determine what data you want to see from the contact, household, policy, investment, or any other list and make SmartOffice your own. Okay, next, let's talk about what you see when you view an individual record. We'll start with the contact record. I'll search for Joseph Ackerman. Here he is. And we're looking at the default layout for the contact record page. It looks good, but for me, I'd like to see the SmartPad notes on this screen without having to click on the SmartPad icon or pressing F7, so I'm going to add the notes to the bottom of this page. To do that, I'll click Menu, and then Page Layouts. First, I'll give the page layout a name. I'll call it Contact with SmartPad. Now I know I want to add SmartPad notes, so I'll just search for SmartPad in the search field. Here it is. I'll highlight it and drag it over to the bottom of the contact page. Now I can change the height of the portlet by clicking on the Edit Portlet icon. And I'll make the portlet height 200. And click OK. If I want to remove a portlet, I can click the red trash can to remove it. So now I'm going to scroll down and click Save and Apply. And as I scroll to the bottom of the page, I can see my SmartPad notes. Now let's go back to page layouts and look at some of the other options. So on the left side, you'll see all of the fields and portlets available for selection. So let's say I wanted to add driver's license number to the main page. I can search for it. Here it is. Then click and drag it to the personal information portlet. And to remove it, I can simply drag and drop it back into the list of available fields. I can also change my layout from a 2-column layout to a 3-column layout if I want to see more information on this screen. And then I can simply move over some columns. So take some time and look at the options available and play around with this feature to display the data you want to see. And if you get stuck and you want to set the screen back to the default setting, I can scroll down and click Reset to Default. This link is a little advanced for this class, but here you can embed a dynamic report right on the contact page if you wanted. You can customize the page layout for many screens in SmartOffice, so think about what data is important to you, what do you want to see, and you can get started customizing your view right away. Next, I'd like to talk about using key relations in households to organize your data and help provide a look at the bigger picture. We'll start off with key relations. So the key relations function allows you to track family, business, personal, and other relationships for each client. So from the key relations screen, all of Joe's key relations are listed. I'll click the drop-down arrow and select only his business relations. So you'll notice there's business key relations and a business relations section. The business key relations is where you enter individual business relations for the current contacts, such as associates who work in the same company, superiors, partners, and so on. The business relations section is where you specify the current contact's relationship to specific businesses. So once key relationships are established, you'll have the option of viewing the SmartPad notes for all contacts related to the contact or business key relation. So we'll select Ace Building, and then we'll click on the SmartPad icon. The notes that are on display are those entered in this business record, but I can click the View options at the top and add to this list of all the notes for associated key relations, or just view the key relations. Next, let's take a look at Joe's family relations. I'll bring up his family. So we can see that Joe has a wife, daughter, son, and a granddaughter. Typically, users create spouse contact records, particularly if the spouse has holdings in their name and they want to view the holdings for the household. So more on that in a minute, but they don't always create records for the children. One exception to this is if the child is a beneficiary of a policy but is not an actual client. So in this case, we have a dependent record. This is a type of record that does not normally show up in contact searches unless you specify you're searching for dependent records. Down here, there's also a referred contacts section. This feature of SmartOffice helps you answer the question, what has been the result in dollars and cents of this client's referrals? So the referral value is the amount of business generated by this client and any clients those clients have subsequently referred. This helps you identify your most valuable clients so you take the necessary retention or appreciation actions. All you need to do is enter the appropriate contact's name in the referred by field when you enter a prospect record. That's it. The rest is done automatically by SmartOffice. So let me show you how. To see how much business Joe has referred to me, I'll just click Menu, then Customer Referral Value. As you can see, Joe's referrals have added handsomely to my bottom line. So as with many things in SmartOffice, entering one piece of information can have a dramatic benefit to your understanding of your client base. There's another piece of information that when entered once has tremendous value. You've probably seen the prompt to add a spouse or a partner when you're entering information for a new contact. So for instance, when you add a spouse or partner and create a record, the information will automatically be added to the contact's key relations and a household will be created. So since we just covered key relations and are going to cover households next, I didn't want you to think that you had to enter spouse or partner data multiple times to take advantage of these features. It's a once and done type of thing. If you have legacy key relations and no household data and vice versa, you can easily add the data using the Household Key Relations Sync button right here. This makes it quick and easy to populate the data without having to hand enter everything. So that being said, let's talk a bit about households and the value they add to your practice. Let's go back to Joseph Ackerman's contact record. And I'll click on his household tab. The information here on the left, particularly the household's name, salutation, and head of household, are important pieces of information, particularly for mailings when you want to address correspondence using the household name or salutation, or if you want it addressed to the head of household. All of this is done via merge codes. So while we're on the topic of mailings, let me point out that SmartOffice has the ability to send one piece of correspondence per household, so you don't risk sending a duplicate invitation, holiday card, newsletter, or other type of mailing that should only be sent per household. A consolidated view of the family's assets, policy information, notes, letters, and so on is shown on the right. So having this combined view is paramount for effective client servicing and prospecting activities. You can click on the policy, investment accounts, investment positions, and any other household tab to view this data for the entire household. Also, there are a fair number of custom fields available at the household level. If you prefer to track information at this level, SmartOffice affords quite a bit of flexibility to do this. So let's take a look at Joe's SmartPad again. Since Joe's a member of a household, I can quickly see all the notes or actions for the entire household right from here. This is really handy while on the phone with a client or when preparing for a client meeting. I'll return to home. Okay, before I go, I'll show you two quick things. Have you ever had to try to find a SmartPad note you recently made, but you couldn't remember where you entered it? Or have you ever wanted to search all SmartPads for a particular item? Let me show you an easy way to do this. So from the search area, I'll click Tools, then I'll click Notes Last 30 Days. And then if you leave the search field blank and then click Search, all the notes entered in the last 30 days will display here. So this provides a bird's eye view of all Office activity. You can also click Advanced Search to further refine your search criteria. So this is a great feature that affords a ton of benefit, but many users don't know about it. How about the question, what are my assets under management? Again, from the search menu, I'll select Investments, then Account. And then again, I'll leave the search field blank and click Search. Then I'll click View More to get everything in. If we scroll down to the bottom, look at this total value column. Here you can find your total assets under management. And remember when we covered working with lists of data, this is a list of data and it has something that we've never seen before, and that's a total. How do we get that? Let's click Customize List Layout, highlight the total value column, and here you can see that total and subtotal are checked. And that's how we get totals and subtotals in a list. Okay, let's return to home. So in closing, everything in SmartOffice is dependent on the data you enter, download, or import. Taking some time to determine how you would like to structure your data and then taking those steps to ensure consistency of data will pay off tenfold. And this isn't unique to SmartOffice, this applies to any system you use. Sometimes clients come to us with data that has gone through a few databases and changes in personnel and is, how should we say, less than perfect. So we understand that and don't think our data is 100% perfect either. That's okay. All of your data does not need to be perfect to find value in SmartOffice. We typically recommend prioritizing any cleanup effort, so start with your biggest, most important clients and work down the list from there. If you do a little at a time, you can be finished before you know it. And start with a few simple goals, such as review your contact data and update information as required or as you access it. Segment your clients, A, B, C, D, gold, silver, bronze. This is handy for future outreach and servicing goals. Make notes, schedule activities, post emails sent and received, create households, increase touch points, for example, calls or letters on clients' birthdays, getting in front of age changes, doing annual client reviews, sending newsletters, and so on. You can start doing something in SmartOffice today. Let your next steps be determined by the goals that you set. You can start as simple or as complex as you'd like, but above all, we ask that you think about your business objectives first and let SmartOffice help you achieve those objectives one step at a time. Now, I want you to commit to calling or emailing our support team if you cannot determine how to do something in SmartOffice. We are the experts and we are here to help. Well, I hope you learned something today, and thanks for listening.